27 minutes, almost past 9 o'clock, News Radio 830 WCCO. Eleanor Mondale, Susie Jones, 33 degrees outside. Well, hopefully you have happy feet.
Beautiful outside. But a lot of people don't have happy feet.
Oh, they don't.
And a lot of people probably don't go to the podiatrist because they are not sure if they should or if they think they can get something at the drugstore that'll fix whatever it is. And so we've invited Judith Hector in, who's a podiatrist. And I wanted to ask you right off the bat, what are the number one complaints that people come to you for with their feet?
Mostly it's heel pain, and a lot of heel pain out there. And people also come in with nails they can't cut, bunions and hammer toes, and other aches and pains.
What's the problem with heel pain? What's going on there? Is that a hard thing to diagnose?
It's not a hard thing to diagnose, but not all heel pain is plantar fasciitis, which everybody's heard that word by now.
What is plantar fasciitis?
The plantar is a Latin word for the bottom of the foot. And fascia is a kind of tissue that's on the bottom of the foot that attaches from the ball of the foot back to the heel. And if it tries to stretch, it gets inflamed, and then you get pain back at the area of the heel where it attaches. And so itis means inflammation of, so plantar fasciitis.
But you can stretch your feet easily at home.
To a point. Yeah, that helps a lot. And that's one of the things that I always have patients do as part of the treatment.
Not fun, but it's something you can do.
Right.
So, all right, so that's the number one complaint. And then how bad are high heels for your feet?
I tell people as long as you can wear them comfortably, go for it. When you hit your 40s and 50s and you can't wear them comfortably anymore.
They make you cry.
It's time
Why is that?
It's just your feet enlarge as you get older. They don't grow, but they get a little wider, a little longer. You definitely go up in shoe size as you age. You can't get into those high heels that you used to get into. And the pointier they are, the narrower they are, the more they hurt.
Take off your shoes and throw them away. Come back and get them another day. We barefootin'.
If you can walk, if it doesn't hurt too much. It's 33 degrees outside. Mondale and Jones here, 9:38 in the morning. Our guest is Judith Sperling Hector, newly married, got a new last name, and she's got Twin Cities Foot and Ankle Clinic in Golden Valley. We are taking your calls here at 651-989-9226 or out of the area, 866-989-9226. And if you are streaming online, which we hope you'll do at work or wherever it's convenient, just write in an email to the studio right on the homepage, and we'll get our questions to the doctor that way. So we have already gotten a lot of phone calls because apparently a lot of people have problems with their feet. So Linda, good morning. She's calling from Apple Valley. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning.
You're on with Mondale and Jones and Dr. Hector.
Oh, thanks. I was wondering if the doctor can suggest what kind of home remedies you can do that will improve bunions and hammer toes short of surgery.
Once you have the bunions and hammer toes, it's kind of hard to get rid of them with home remedies. That's the problem. The best thing to do is we try and prevent them in the first place, and we do that by wearing, you got it, good shoes.
Bottom line, good shoes are it.
They are it, yeah. Bunions and hammer toes are more...
What's a hammer toe?
A hammer toe is a toe that kind of sits up and can rub the top of the shoe, and you just can't straighten it as you're walking. And the bunion, for those who don't know, is like a bump at the big toe joint where the big toe starts to move over toward the second toe. And it can be painful either at the joint or it can be painful where it rubs on the shoe where the bump gets larger. Lots of people have them. They are genetic, and you're born with the foot structure that's going to cause it to happen if you live long enough. And the one thing that we can do to try and prevent it is to wear good shoes that give you good support.
Can you reverse it?
You can put in toe spacers between the big toe and the second toe that will hold the toe apart. You can put splints on your hammer toes that will hold them down. But as soon as they come off, they're going to go right back to where they want to be anyway. So they're not going to fix it, but you can manage it so that they don't rub on the shoes.
All right. Again, our guest is Dr. Judith Sperling Hector, and if you have a question for her, go ahead and give us a call here at 651-989-9226. We'll get to more of your calls right after this on Mondale and Jones.
830 WCCO.
is funny.
Nothing worse. 9:44, just about 9:45 on News Radio 830 WCCO. Eleanor Mondale and Susie Jones. On this Wednesday, February 11th, 33 degrees in the Twin Cities. Our guest is Dr. Judith Sperling Hector, and she is with the Twin Cities Foot and Ankle Clinic in Golden Valley. And we're happy to have her with us today. And smelly feet, you heard Paul McCartney singing about it. Is there foot deodorant?
There actually is.
Good foot deodorant?
It works. It's a prescription. And you put it on your feet and wrap them in saran wrap and socks, and you go to bed that way. And basically what it does is it clogs the sweat glands. That's what all antiperspirants do.
Okay.
And it does work, and it cuts down on foot odor.
And that can be a problem.
And is foot odor inherited as well as the hammer toes and bunions?
Yes, only because it's not because your feet are dirty. It's because your sweat reacts with the normal bacteria on your skin, and it creates that odor. So you have sweat that's probably same in chemistry as your parents.
Now, I know the glamorous side in Hollywood is using Botox in their armpits so they don't sweat.
Oh, my
Could
goodness.
you put that in your feet, too?
I haven't heard of it. You probably could try.
All right, let's get to some calls here. A lot of folks want to ask you questions this morning. Marilee is calling from Blaine with a question for you. Hi, Marilee.
Hi.
Go ahead, please.
Well, I have a question. My father passed away recently in his 80s, and he had terrible hammer toes and suffered with them for years. And I know that if you're going to have surgery, you got to have it before you get too old. You know, and he had diabetes and everything. And I have, sadly to say, my father's feet. And I'm just worried down the road that I'm going to need some work done on him. And when's the age that, you know, when do you need to get it done? I'm in my 50s now.
Well, it depends on how bad they are.
Well, they're not hurting me yet, but boy, he was miserable.
Well, you know, this ties in with Linda's question before about bunions and what you can do at home. And the thing is, because hammer toes and bunions are both deformities that come because of the structure of your foot and not from wearing bad shoes and not just because you get old, if we can control the mechanics of the feet that allow them to happen with inserts or custom inserts called orthotics, we can possibly keep them from ever getting worse. And that would be the one thing that you could do now, would be to see a podiatrist or start with your family doctor and look into some custom orthotics to control the mechanics of your feet to keep those toe deformities from getting any worse. And it's not an absolute that you're going to have surgery on them.
You've mentioned good shoes a couple of times now. What constitutes a good shoe?
A good shoe is one that is, number one, comfortable. Number two, wide enough to accommodate your forefoot is important. Oftentimes it means something that ties, something that has a strap that goes across the top that will hold it on so you're not clenching with your toes like we all wear the mules and the backless shoes where we have to grip with our toes. They should have a good arch support in them because that's key for helping the dynamics and the mechanics of your feet to help prevent these mechanical deformities like bunions and hammer toes.
And what about earth shoes that were so popular where the heel is lower than the toe?
Well, it's interesting. Earth shoes almost went out of business in the 80s because so many people got ruptured Achilles tendons. And so when you wear them, you need to make sure that if you're starting to get pain in the back of your heel, that you take a break.
Yeah, I think I wore them. I got another pair because I thought, oh, that's going to be great. And I wore them probably 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, that's enough. I think my calves are going to be the size of my head pretty soon because there's so much work going on in your calves and then things don't fit anymore.
Yeah.